Welcome back to another Avian and Loaded action figure obsession video in shaky cam. Over caffeinated shaky cam. As I mentioned in my previous video, I was sick most of last night, and caffeine has literally kept me alive today, so that's pretty nice. Put my civilian characters into my Spider-Man display a short time ago, and was looking over the work table trying to figure out what's the next project. And one of the things that I've been trying to figure out, and it was so simple really once I remembered something. Funny how things can be simpler when you remember something. So here are my 4 movie Deadpools. And this one is the first one that came in the 2-pack with Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And I noticed, it's interesting, the paint on the belt buckle is much sloppier and messier than it is on these next 2, which are the Legacy Collection re-releases of that figure. Their belt buckles look pretty good. The best belt buckle is actually the first Deadpool and Wolverine one. It's totally different belt and everything, and more comic reminiscent, I would say, that design. He's also a brighter red than the other 3, although that's not really coming through on camera, but I promise he is a brighter red. These 3 are more muted. Wonder if there's a way to highlight that. Yeah, maybe that way. Can you tell now? See how the one in the back looks a little brighter compared to the 3 in the front? But anyway, yeah, lighting is not my strong. So I really didn't pay attention in TV class. I just wanted to be on the radio, and didn't really give a shit about the TV production end of it, but had to take it for the course. Boy, that's a digression right there. Anyways, the way that, because they're fairly identical, the first 3 here. The costume and some of the details on the Deadpool and Wolverine one in the back there are definitely different. But so the Negasonic Teenage Warhead one came with 2 of those goofy sci-fi pistols. Like, let's see, do I have anybody right here with that pistol? Of course not. I thought I did. You know, it's a little sci-fi looking. He came with 2 of those that he could hold in his trigger finger hands, which I don't have on him right now. I appear to have his katana holding hands on. But the big controversy at the time that this one was released, the Negasonic 2-pack, Negasonic Teenage Warhead movie Deadpool from the 2-pack, the big controversy was that his Desert Eagles that are holstered on his hip, they are not molded in. They were never molded in. Like sometimes they do, like the gun that came with the comic Winter Soldier, the most recent comic Winter Soldier, or I think the tactical Eric Killmonger movie figure. Those are actually molded in. The G.I. Joe Fortnite collab of Snake Eyes, that one had a molded in gun on his thigh holster, but this one, they molded the Desert Eagles, and it's actually quite a nice sculpt on it. I'm trying to get it out without knocking everything over. Well, it feels loose enough now that I'm just going to try this. And that's not going to work. All right. I got to get a tripod one of these days, or a stand of some kind. Come on, you son of a bitch. Well, they were never meant to come out anyway. All right, so the 2-pack with Negasonic Warhead Deadpool. Here's the Desert Eagle that he came with in his holster, but these were glued in to the holsters on either hip. And then he also came with the goofy-looking sci-fi guns as well. And I'm trying to think, the Blue Deadpool, where's Blue Deadpool? He doesn't have it right now, but he is a figure. If you have that figure and you have his original accessories, he came with the goofy sci-fi rifle and the goofy sci-fi pistol. Whereas this movie figure, they went to all the trouble of molding and producing these. I mean, they're a little undersized because the movie figures are more true 1/6 scale. You might notice that the trigger guard in the front looks a little chewed up, a little torn up. And the reason for that, and this is how I figured out which one was my original one, because there was a video at the time, when this was a controversy because the guns were glued into the holsters. They were real, real accessories, but they were glued into the holster. And there was a video that said not to use heat, but just to get in there with the smallest sort of flathead screwdriver that you could find and wriggle it around and just try to break up the glue. And I did that, and it worked. And I got both of my Desert Eagles from the first Deadpool figure out with minimal damage. You can see right there at the on the right side of the trigger guard, there's a little chewing up, but it's not. It didn't break. A lot of people's broke. Like mine did not break. The finger will stay in that trigger guard. But you can see, if we get a little closer, there's a little more damage at the top of the handle. Do you see that? Where it's really chewed up, that's where the glue was. And I cut through that with my little flathead screwdriver. I was very slow and methodical. It took about 15 or 20 minutes to get these guys out. And it was just the fucking principle of the thing. They went to all the trouble to make them, and then they said, nope, you can't use them. And most fans, I think, were pissed off about it, most collectors, and I think a lot of them, like me, found a way to get them out. Tragically, as I say, if you look up reviews of this figure and you find reviewers that tried to, so you can see in silhouette, there's no hole there in the trigger guard. A lot of people's, you'd see a hole with it up that close because it tore at this bottom corner here where you can see where it's a little chewed up. That actually tore off for a lot of people. And I've always been quite pleased with myself that mine didn't tear off, didn't shear off. And again, it's just the fucking principle of the thing. Hasbro goes so far out of their way to screw us every chance they get. For example, I've never even noticed this before, but I watched some reviews of this figure overnight while I was being sick. And, this seems like a fairly premium figure for Marvel Legends, Hasbro Marvel Legends. Look at the nice paint on the buttons on his pouches. Don't look at that one. Don't look at the ones in the back. There's no paint on those. No fucking paint at all. Because Hasbro gonna Hasbro. How much? You're already paying someone in a factory to paint the little silver on that pouch. You can't tell them, hey, go ahead and do that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. How much more would it have cost Hasbro? Maybe you should do a button painting HasLab where everybody pledges to give you 5 fucking cents if you just paint the fucking buttons on the fucking pouches. And I didn't really mean to get all heated up. I can tell I'm swearing because there's spit all over my screen now. I hopefully got some sanitary Clorox wipes or something. But anyway, so this is how I know. And I was thinking about putting a dot on his feet. But now that I realize, and I haven't even looked at this figure really close up in 3 or 4 years probably. I'm not even sure when the hell it came out. Was it 2018, 2019? I don't know. People were really pissed off that he was behind a paywall with that Negasonic Teenage Warhead figure. Did anybody like her? I loved her in the movie, but the figure was not great. And I can't sit, but I never see it like used at any vintage toy shops. I never see it on like the secondhand shelf. I'd probably pick her up if I found her cheap. I'd probably pick her up and reunite them, But yeah, I got to put that back in his. And then when I was looking at all these guns, I also found my Valaverse Desert Eagles. So just to give you a feeling for the difference in scale between a comic book figure, because these Valaverse figures are in scale with Marvel Legends. And here's the Desert Eagle. Well, how am I going to do this where you can actually see it fairly? And how's that? Can you see how much shorter that is? And somewhat smaller as well. These Desert Eagles look great with this Deadpool, who is, more of a true 1/12 scale 6-inch figure. Whereas most of the comic book Legends now, and even this one is somewhat old. I think it came out in 2017. But it's a Sunfire body mold. They still use it, and the size creep has been going up a little. Also, I think for a character like Bullseye, having the guns just look big is that's kind of a plus, don't you think? It's like a psychological thing, like how Frank Miller drew the revolver that he was playing Russian roulette. Yeah, that Russian roulette with Bullseye in Daredevil 191. That gun was drawn a little oversized, I think, but it's a good artistic technique, and I think I'm going to give these to the Punisher. Actually, Anthony's Customs mentioned that you should just give the Punisher a couple of Desert Eagles, and he looks great. And I think that's true. So Bullseye may have to give those up, but I think I have something else somewhere similar that'll be fine. So anyway, yeah, I paid full price, which I think was like $50 for the 2-pack of this Deadpool and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and they couldn't even give me the goddamn guns without gluing them in and making me tear them out of his fucking holster. This will be, maybe on Sunday. Every Sunday I'll do a video where I feel free to swear. And then these two here, these two in the front, this guy and this guy, I bought these on the same day, along with these are the Legacy Collection reissues. Let's see how they did with the paint on the buttons on the. Let's see, paint on that one, paint on that one. No paint on any of the rest of them because fucking Hasbro, man, fucking Hasbro. But the belt buckle at least looks a little cleaner on that than it did on the original release. And interestingly, I don't know that I realized this until I watched Anthony's Customs review again this morning. So the legs were pinned on this guy, and it didn't bother Anthony, and it doesn't bother me, as he called them. Why do those little red dots ruin the figure? They don't. And it's still, his legs are nice and straight after all these years, but the arms are pinless. Now, I'm presuming that there's no reuse at the time that this figure was originally molded or sculpted, molded, and produced. I'm mystified as to why he has pinless arms but not pinless legs. Maybe they hadn't figured out the technology for the legs. Anyway, the reissue, the Legacy Collection one, also pinless arms and pinned legs. And it's fine with me. It doesn't bother me in the least. What bothers me is that dust that I'm seeing on this one's bicep. You see that? That is, what the hell is going on there? That's just gross. Ugh. Always keep your microfiber cloths handy, toy collectors. That's a little better. All right. So yeah, I walked into Target one day, the week that the Legacy Collection figures were released, which was kind of the first advance release of figures in the Marvel Legends line in anticipation of Deadpool and Wolverine. So they re-released the Deadpool and Wolverine's Marvel Legends had done previously, the movie versions, and that's how I got these two. And it was awesome because apparently they weren't on the planogram for the toy aisle at Target the day that I found them. They were on a random end cap that wasn't even in the toy section. And they were $9.99 each, these two in the front here. And also the tank top Wolverines, there was two of those. And there was these two guys, and they were all $9.99 each. So for $40, the cost of one modern Marvel Legend now, for $40 I got 2 Deadpools and 2 Wolverines, and I came home happy that day because I felt like I really had somehow gamed the system. Just realized his neck and chest piece is completely different from the 3 earlier ones, the original one and the 2 reissues. This one has that black going down his chest, the gold. Did we paint everything on this one? Nope. Look at that, Hasbro. They can't fucking help it. Oh, I hope nobody got in trouble at the factory. Look at that. The first 2 are painted, and then the third one isn't. But on this side, the first 2 are painted on this side too. All right. So they did a little better. Today you can have 2 dots of paint on each side, but do not do 3. Do not do 4. Do not do the ones in the back. Or you will be fired. That's what they tell them at the factory, no doubt. It's so sad and ridiculous how Hasbro cheaps out. I mean, these are premium-looking figures. They really are. They're really, really nice. I don't know how they did it. Anthony talked about this in his review of this original one. How do you make a masked character actually look like Ryan Reynolds, the face under the mask? But they did it. They pulled it off. I don't know who sculpted these. And I'm not sure it's as true for the Deadpool Wolverine one there in the back, but for this one and the two Legacy Collection ones, I could see Ryan Reynolds on that face. That's very impressive. They must have really put out the money for the digital face technology, you know, the scanning, however it is they do it. Maybe that's why they had to glue in these guns, you know, to somehow they saved money by doing that. I don't know how. I don't know why Hasbro does anything they do. It's like having a love affair with someone that just won't stop sleeping around and really never cleans up after themselves in the bathroom. That's Hasbro. And yet sometimes they're great in bed. And you know, these four Deadpools are more or less a good example of that. How many Deadpools do I have besides these? I have 11. I just counted. I have 11 other comic Deadpools, including this retro one from 2019, the retro carded one. I gave him a pair of Krinkov AKs that were from Valverse Action Forces, what do they call it, Weapons Pack Lima. So I got this guy, and then I've got 10 more, I think, on my X-Men shelf, various ones. The one from the 2016 Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave, and the one in the boxer shorts, and the X-Men trainee one, and I don't know, 3 or 4 of the, oh yeah, there's a blue Deadpool here too. And then I've got 3 or 4 more blue Deadpools sort of strung around the toy room. And even way, way over there, if you really look closely, you can see I have a 12-inch X-Force Deadpool there in the center of the screen next to Wolverine. I'm not sure how well that's coming up on camera. And I'm so tired, y'all. I'm not gonna make the effort. So anyway, I just wanted to, you know, get the Deadpool movie mystery out of my system and talk a little bit about the shitty way they glued in those guns back when this figure was first released. Absolutely disgraceful. No excuse for that. No excuse for the lack of paint on the pouches. God damn it. You know, if his arm would fall off, then he'd definitely be a maximum Deadpool, right? That's how you know if it's maximum, when the arm falls off or the chest rips. Very judgy tonight. Very judgy. Anyway, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, feel free to give it a thumbs down. If you're new here and you like what you see or hear, feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that, what is it again, YouTube lets you know anytime I upload a new video here on the Avian and Loaded channel. And that will do it, believe it or not. That's I just got nothing else to say about Deadpool. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I don't much like Rob Liefeld as a human being, and I don't really think he draws very well. You know, you do you as far as the issue of Rob Liefeld, but I don't think he's, I don't know, his success is way out of whack with his talent, if nothing else. I don't think anybody can argue with that, but he does have a way with character creation in a way, taking existing ideas and kind of tweaking them. I mean, basically, he wanted to draw Spider-Man, so he created Deadpool. First time I ever saw a Deadpool in cosplay at a comic book convention, I thought that it was some Spider-Man costume I'd never seen before. That's how out of it I was. That's how out of it I was. So anyway, for the 5 Deadpools sitting here in front of me and the 10 other ones that are, as I say, well, oh, there's that one too. The 10 other ones or so that are strewn around the room. I'm going to sign off now. Thank you for joining me here on Action Figure Obsession. And I will see you on the next one. Remember, keep the glue off your accessories.